So I wanted to read to you from my third book, and I'm just going to put these here, and it is called It's Okay, Being Kind to Yourself When Things Feel Hard. And before I read it, I just wanted to say that this is a book that's about like how we can be good friends to ourselves. So if you stop and think about it in your own life, when things are hard, how do you treat yourself versus maybe how you treat a friend, right? Like so often if a friend's having a hard time, we're kind and compassionate, we might give them a hug, and yet when we're having a hard time, sometimes we're not as kind to ourselves. And I truly believe that if we can teach people, so I feel like this is for us adults as well as for children, to be really kind to ourselves, that it could make such a difference in our lives. And that was why I wrote this book. And I wrote it during the pandemic, because it was a time where for me, my self-compassion practice was just so important. So I thought I'd read it, and then I'll tell you a little bit about self-compassion, which is what that's called. Treating yourself like a friend is called self-compassion. Sometimes I think of it too. I had a friend who once said to me, she's having a hard time, and she said, imagine I'm wrapping you up in a big warm blanket filled with all my love and care. And so I think of it in that way, like those are the ways we can think of self-compassion, offering ourselves that kind of kindness and care, kind of all snuggled up in that blanket. So I'll read the book, and then I'm going to share a little about self-compassion. We have a little activity that's good for adults and children. So it's okay, being kind to yourself when things feel hard. And it's by me, Wendy O'Leary, and the illustrations, I'm so grateful to Sandra Eade, who did the illustrations for this book. It's okay. Sometimes things don't go the way I want. I feel sad and it's hard. There are times where things just don't go the way we want. And then I remember that everyone feels sad sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I make a mistake. I do that. I feel really bad. Then I remember that everyone feels bad sometimes. So let's do this together. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. You can say it silently or out loud. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I have to do something I don't want to do. That happens sometimes, right? Like for children and for grown-ups, there are just sometimes things we don't want to do that we have to do. I feel really angry. Then I remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I can't do something, no matter how hard I try. I feel frustrated. Then I remember that everyone feels frustrated sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes my fun plans get canceled. I feel so disappointed. Then I remember that everyone feels disappointed sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I'm not included. I feel so hurt. And who's over there feeling left out, huh? then I remember that everyone feels hurt sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I think something bad might happen. I feel so worried. Then I remember that everyone feels worried sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. Sometimes I think I'm just not special. I feel like I am not good enough. Then I remember that everyone feels not good enough sometimes. I put my hand on my heart, and here's what I say. It's okay. I love you. I'm with you today. And at the back of the book, there's a little bit of activities of other practices, because we put our hand on our heart, right? This is that offering of kindness. And interestingly, for the adults in the room to know that when we do this, we actually release oxytocin, which is a feel-good chemical. So it actually does make us feel better. It's offering ourselves kindness. And yet there are lots of other ways we can offer ourselves kindness. So in this book are the 3 components of mindful self-compassion. And I thought I would share them. We're doing a little theme. It's kind of springtime, right? It's getting warmer out there. So we're sort of doing this idea of growing self-compassion, because self-compassion is this beautiful trait, and yet we need to grow it. It doesn't just show up. We really have to practice it. So the first part is the soil. This is my soil. The first part is the soil, and that's the foundation. That is mindfulness. And so here I wrote things like just acknowledging, oh, this is hard, right? So in the book, sometimes we said that, like, sometimes I feel sad, right? So we have, this is a down moment. Or just even saying, how am I feeling right now? Things don't feel quite comfortable. And just being able to acknowledge mindfulness, noticing what you're feeling. So we need that foundation to have self-compassion. To be kind to ourselves when we're hurting, we have to notice we're hurting first. And then the second part, this is my raindrop, right? So the raindrop is the reminder that the rain falls on everyone. This is our common humanity. Everyone feels hurt sometimes, right? You notice it said that throughout the book, that reminder that we all have and feel and experience difficult emotions at times, right? So for me, sometimes to remind myself, I would say things like, of course you feel that. It makes sense. Or everyone feels sad sometimes. And that's my little reminder for that. And then the final one, which we're going to focus on for our craft, this is the sunshine. This is our offering ourselves some kindness. And so we want to think about what we need. So in the book, the offering of kindness, right, was the hand on the heart and saying, I love you. But maybe what we need, maybe we're about to do something that we're afraid to do and we're kind of feeling worried and scared. Maybe what we need is, you've got this, right? Maybe it's a hand on the heart saying, it's okay, you can do this, right? That reminder to ourselves. And maybe it's that what I need is to go outside and play. Or maybe I need to call a friend. Or maybe I need a hug from somebody who loves me, right? Or maybe I need to give myself a hug. So we can do hugging breath, which is at the back of the book. Lots of different things. Some of us like to listen to music when we're having a hard time. What are the things that are ways you can be kind to yourself when you're having a hard time? And if you can think of those things, then you can write them down. And back there we have, it says handle with care, and they're hearts, and it's a piece of paper. And you can draw pictures of things you can do when you're having a hard time. It could be maybe you have a pet, maybe it's patting your pet, or maybe it's, again, snuggling with a warm blanket, or getting a hug, or dancing around the house. I do that sometimes when I'm having a grouchy moment. right? What are the things that you can do when you're having a hard time? And you can write those down on this Handle with Care card to remind yourself, because when we're in the middle of having a difficult emotion, it's hard to remember what might help. So it's good to have these reminders. So what I brought today, this is mine. I made this little, this is my Growing My Flower of Self-Compassion. So there are paper bags back there for people if you want to make your own little Growing Your Flower of Self-Compassion. And then inside you can put your Handle with Care. And I have in here just some, you can put these cards. I have these cards. I just wrote like run and play, or talk to someone, or go out in nature. I like to go outside, go for a walk maybe, or be kind to someone else. Sometimes helps when I'm having a hard time, or snuggle and get a hug, right? So I just put some of these in here, and those are the kinds of things that people could write on their Handle with Care cards. You can make your heart. And then last, I just wanted to thank the library, because they also are offering, as part of this theme of growing self-compassion, it's good to have visual reminders, because we're so used to giving ourselves a hard time. Having a little reminder is super helpful. And so we have little peat pots with some soil and some seeds for people to take home with them that you can plant in honor of the spring, and a little reminder to grow some self-compassion. So before we wrap up, I thought that I would share, for each of my books, I come up with a song, and I am not a singer, so bear with me, but it's a good way to kind of remember, right? Music is a great tool to use to help us remember something. So it goes like this, and you can use any emotion, so whatever one you're dealing with, right? Sometimes I feel sad and it's hard to feel that way. Everyone feels sad sometimes, so I put my hand on my heart and I say, it's okay, I love you, I'm with you today. So what might be another feeling that might be a hard one? Anybody want to share a feeling they might sometimes find hard? Worry, yeah, I feel that one a lot. Sometimes I feel worried and it's hard to feel that way. Everyone feels worried sometimes, so I put my hand on my heart and I say, it's okay, I love you, I'm with you today. And you can stop and notice, and particularly for those of you, I know a lot of people have children or grandchildren that they share some of my books and teachings with. You can also say, you know, when you feel worried, what does that feel like in your body? Sometimes my body feels tight and it's hard to feel that way, right? So it can also be about the physical sensation, because it doesn't feel good to be worried or to be sad, right? It doesn't feel good in our bodies. So helping children kind of experience it in their bodies can also be really helpful. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And I do have all three of my books here with me tonight. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.